My child has been placed on a reduced timetable for an hour and a half in the morning because she escalates easily and needs one-to-one support to be able to manage her emotions and learn. While I know her behaviours can be difficult to manage in the classroom, I am worried that she is not getting to learn how to be around the other children and is not getting a full day of learning. I think she prefers to be at home now because school is challenging for her. What should I be talking to the school about to make sure we are helping her in the best way possible? So there are certainly some instances where a reduced timetable is beneficial for an individual student. I've taught students in the past where a reduced timetable was necessary to support the mental health of the child. However, the goal should always be for the child to increase their time at school. So it's really important that you are in contact with the school about what are the steps that we're going to take to make sure that we can slowly increase my child's time at school. So the first step that I'd be talking to the school about is how can we increase your child's timetable so that they can be included in first break, eating and play, because this is really important for your child to be able to develop friendships in the classroom. I would also recommend talking to the classroom teacher about identifying parts of the curriculum that your child enjoys. So maybe your child really enjoys maths or art. How can they engage in that during the short time they're at school? By making that short period of time that your child is at school really engaging, they'll be much more likely to respond well to an increase in their timetable when that occurs. I have a child who will run away from the classroom when he gets escalated. What are the best ways to respond to children who run away? Is this a difficult thing for schools to manage, as the school is very heightened about this behaviour? Running away is a really common response for children who become escalated in the classroom, and it can be really worrying for the school and the classroom teacher from a safety standpoint. As a teacher who has taught many students who have been runners, it is always on my mind that they might hurt themselves by running onto a road. However, there are systems that can be put in place by the school to support your child and their teacher. It's important to remember that all behaviour is communication from your child. So it's important to ask questions like, why are they running away? Are they overwhelmed by the classroom environment? Are they finding the work too difficult? Are they seeking a response from an adult? The way that the school responds to a child running away should depend on the reason for the behaviour. So I would recommend meeting with the school to discuss a safety plan for what will happen when your child runs away. Whose responsibility will it be to ensure your child's safety? How will that person ensure that they have a strong relationship with your child? It's not always possible for the classroom teacher to follow your child when they run. However, it is really important that whoever is maintaining the safety of your child has a relationship with them. Your child is very unlikely to want to return to the classroom with someone they don't know or trust. Don't be afraid to ask how the school staff are developing a relationship with your child. My child who has sensory needs refuses to wear some uniform items. The school are not flexible and are insisting on correct uniform. What should I do? I'd reach out to your child's classroom teacher to gain their perspective on it. I've definitely had children in the past who have sensory needs and the uniform was an issue for them. And they wore things like a soft cotton t-shirt, even pajamas under their uniform, really helped to manage some of their sensory needs. You might also like to talk to the school. I know that lots of schools have a formal school uniform and a sports uniform. Perhaps one uniform is more comfortable for your child, and can they wear that uniform instead of the other one? That might be helpful. Remember that your child has the right to access the curriculum, and if the uniform is preventing them from accessing the curriculum, you need to talk to the school about what adjustments can be made so that your child can access the curriculum, which they have the right to do so. And maybe that needs to be put together in some sort of formalized document, like an IEP that's written with your classroom teacher and with the leadership team and with the learning support team to make sure that your child is able to access school on the same basis as everybody else. Is there much of a difference between prep and grade 1? Do I need to consider supporting my child's transition? It's a great question. There's definitely some differences between prep and grade one. There's definitely more of an emphasis on play in prep, and as they move into grade one, they're expected to be able to sit and listen and do work for longer periods of time. Probably one of the biggest differences that you'll notice straight away is the expected increase in their independence. So things like being able to walk themselves to their classroom, being able to unpack their bag independently, um, even things like being picked up. Do they know where their pickup location is? These are just like the little things that can sometimes cause anxiety for your child when they move from that really supportive prep environment into year one. And by setting your child up with knowing how to do some of those little things, like I know how to walk myself to the gate after school, or I know how to unpack my bag in the morning. This will really help your child to decrease their anxiety as they move into the year one classroom. And also, this means that they'll be better set up to be able to learn. It's also really important to remember that in grade one, there's not always a full-time teacher aide in the classroom. So there is one adult. So often children in prep are moving from having a teacher and a teacher aide in the classroom to just having one adult. So there is that expected increase in their independence. My child had teacher aide support in kinder and prep, but no extra support in grade one. Who do I talk to about reinstating teacher aide support? So I'd suggest that you set up a meeting with the classroom teacher and learning support or the student leadership team to gain an understanding of what support is being offered in the classroom currently. Sometimes support changes as your child moves through the school. However, if you have concerns about their ability to access the curriculum or engage in the classroom, it is always worth checking in with your classroom teacher and with learning support to see how they are tracking. If my teacher says they're making adjustments in the classroom for my child with ADHD, what does that mean? What would that look like? So an adjustment is anything that a teacher might do to enable your child to access the curriculum. So it might be something as small as repeating an instruction after it's delivered to the whole class. These adjustments, if your child has an IEP, will be documented in your child's IEP. So the first question I'd be asking is, does my child have an IEP? And can we sit down together and discuss what's in the IEP and what adjustments are being made in the classroom to enable my child to access the curriculum? If I have concerns, do I wait for parent-teacher interviews or raise it straight away with the teacher? This is a great question. I'd recommend emailing your child's teacher to set up a catch-up meeting prior to parent-teacher interviews. By making the teacher aware of your concerns, you're opening up the lines of communication to make positive changes for your child earlier rather than later. Keeping in contact with your child's teacher is a great way of monitoring how your child is going in the classroom. Please don't be afraid to ask for an update. It's an important part of our job as teachers to make sure that you are informed as a parent or a caregiver. In your opinion, what is the most important skill that parents or carers should focus on developing with their child in the year before they start school? So the thing that I would focus on is your child's ability to perform self-care activities independently. So that means that your child can go to the toilet by themselves, they can get changed by themselves, they can take their shoes and socks off and put them back on again independently. And then when you go and buy their lunchbox and their water bottle for school, making sure that they can open and close those things independently. And then you can start doing some things like practicing holding a pencil, practicing writing their name and recognizing the letters in their name. You can practice counting to 10 and recognizing the numbers to 10. But then also doing some fine motor activities. So playing with Play-Doh and making things with Play-Doh. making Lego, practicing drawing. All of those things are going to build their capacity to be able to walk into a prep classroom with a little bit of confidence.